All right. It seems like we're live. Good evening, everybody. We are late today, and I am on here alone without infamous Sylvia. She is still in the courtroom, and seems like Judge Glanville is going hard today. The folks have been in since 10 o'clock this morning. I spoke with Sylvia midday, and she said that they got started later than 10. They got there at 10. They started 10-ish. And it's been a long day, but I am here to update you all on what we do know now and take some questions and fill you in as much as we can. We are going to give you guys another update tomorrow, midday. And I just want to say that we have to be very mindful that this is a live court. So, though we try to be on a schedule to update you around 12 to 1 Eastern every day and 8 o'clock at night, it really depends on how the day is going at court. So, I guess the point is to put your notifications on. So always have your notifications on so that as soon as we get out and Sylvia is ready, then we can jump on and have a conversation about the trial. So with that being said, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what happened this morning. And as I'm looking at my phone, I will see if Sylvia is texting anything in. But I'll tell you what we know so far. So today is day 2 of the Young Thug YSL Rico trial. And all of you should know by now, this is the trial with Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug. He was swept up along with 27 other co-defendants back in May of 2022. These are 6 of them being shown to you right now. These are the last 6 remaining. And they are the last 6 who have not pleaded out or, been severed from the case. There's only 6 left, including Thug. So these are the last 6 gentlemen. And they are finally, after several months of hearings and jury selection, they have now a jury impaneled of 12. The jury it's very diverse. It has about 5 women who are Black, I think 2 Black men, 1 white man. I think I can give you the whole disposition breakdown. But it's a diverse jury, not so young. Most of the folks are, middle age, above 40, but a diverse jury, it appears. And yesterday was day 1 of deliberations, where we heard opening statements from the prosecution. The prosecution are the state's lawyers who have been presenting the case that Young Thug is the leader of YSL, which we do know that he is the leader of YSL, the record label. They are suggesting that Young Thug is actually the leader of a racketeering criminal organization called YSL, and that these men have been involved in activities including murder, of course, assaults, gun possession, theft, robberies, etc. So there are a number of charges that each of these individuals have been accused of. Thug has not been accused of any specific charge like murder. However, his crime is that he was allegedly the leader of this criminal organization. So as the leader, they are basically saying that he, called the shots and was responsible for the activities of the other ones. As a matter of fact, yesterday, the prosecution started off her opening statements by calling Young Thug the leader of a pack of wolves, which I thought was very suspect and inappropriate to be calling men animals like that. But her job is to paint the picture that these men were criminals. And it immediately reminded me of when Hillary Clinton called the Central Park Five super predators. So, we want to stay away from language like that when you talk about black men, black people calling folks animals. That's not cool. But anyway, so she started off basically trying to assert that these men had Young Thug was the leader of this pack of wolves, and he is responsible and at the helm of the organization. So today, yesterday we heard from her. There was a call for a mistrial because she obviously was a bit unprepared. The defense attorneys for the six gentlemen, including Jeffrey Williams, objected to the presentation of some of her evidence in her opening statement. There were several delays because of that objection. The trial did resume, and we also heard from Shannon Stillwell's attorney, who has been accused. He has been accused of murder, and we heard from his attorney, who basically said, yes, he did sell drugs. Yes, but he's not a murderer. He sold drugs. He did it because he grew up in this bad neighborhood, this impoverished neighborhood. He did what he had to do to survive, and that was yesterday's. Day one. So today, day two, we have an update as to what happened this morning. Day two, we heard from Young Thug, Jeffrey Williams' attorney, Brian Steele. And Brian Steele started with his opening statements and really sought to paint the picture of Young Thug, how he grew up, the neighborhood he grew up in Atlanta, which, as you've heard him talk about in his music, or if you know about the area in Atlanta, Cleveland Avenue, or Cleveland, as they call it, when you can't say the C. We all know why they don't say the C, but nevertheless, Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta is where he grew up, and he talked about, Brian Steele, his attorney, talked about the challenges of growing up in the community, how he had grown up in poverty, how he grew up with, I think, 6 sisters and 2 brothers in a household in this neighborhood, one of the poorest neighborhoods in Atlanta. He faced bullying and adversity in his household. And, really trying to paint the picture and humanize him and say that, this is what he was exposed to. And that for those reasons, he was limited to 2 career options. He was either going to be an athlete, or an entertainer. And he chose to be an entertainer. He talked about how Lil Wayne and Tupac were his inspirations, and really looked to make a connection between Thug and the jury of 5 Black women who probably have male sons, or males in their family, sons or nephews, or can relate to this idea of growing up in this community, making a connection with that constituency of jurors. So one of the things that was people are talking about today, that you probably have heard, is that Thug talks about his Brian Steele described the real definition of thug and why he's named Young Thug. Again, trying to make this perception that this man is not a gangster, he's not involved in criminal activities. That's not what he's about. He's about being in the community, etc. And his name is only Young Thug because Thug stands for an acronym, and that acronym is truly humble under God. So for all of us who've been listening to Thug's music for the last several years, we probably have not heard that. I have not been able to find one song where he says truly humble under God as his acronym. However, this is what Brian Steele is asserting, that is exactly what the name stood for. It's not supposed to connote, a person who's involved in, nefarious activities. So that was really interesting. And then then he also, Brian Steele, sought to separate Williams from the rest of the co-defendants, and basically say he doesn't know them like that. Like, they all kind of got swept up in all of this because they're from the same community, but they're not necessarily people that he knew. So, for instance, Sylvia, infamous Sylvia, talks about how she actually talked about speaking to Rodelius Ryan, his father. Rodelius is one of the younger, one of the co-defendants, and speaking to his father on her own live and talking to him, and his father actually saying he did not know Thug like that. He was just really a fan of his. So that was, already addressed, that Thug did not have a relationship with Rodelius Ryan at all, except for him being a fan and kind of an onlooker, but not in any capacity of engaging in any criminal activity or criminal enterprise or being a part of his label or anything like that. But one person that he absolutely has a relationship with, as evidence from his music, is Shannon Stillwell. So all of you who are Young Thug fans have probably heard of Stillwell's name in the song "Where You From," right, by Slime Life Shorty. So in that song, Thug raps, "Where you from? I'm from Cleveland. Throw your setup." YSL. Hold on, I'm trying to get the rest of this. Free Lil Shannon. He the one that had them running with that cannon. So that was a reference. Oh, Sylvia's here. She's in the room. All right. Well, let's get it popping, people. She is fresh out of. She is in the car.
In the car.
Girl, they really trying to work you. I mean, 4 months. I mean, 5 months. I mean, sheesh.
They were arguing over a motion in regard to the witness for tomorrow. So yeah, we
Okay.
just got out. We just got out.
I got out. Didn't have a bite to eat.
No, and I'm trying to warm my car because it's so cold outside. But I'm
Lord,
here.
Lord. I thought Atlanta was supposed to be hot. What's up with that? It's talking about hot Atlanta. It's cold.
It's a lie.
So I was just bringing people up to date on what has happened this today so far, a little bit about what happened yesterday, the big revelation today that Thug is called, Young Thug stands for truly humble under God.
I like that too. I really like that. I didn't even know it.
Well, we didn't know it either, and we've been listening to his music for some time now. So this is a blockbuster revelation for everybody, all the Thug fans.
Yeah.
That was revealing, and then I heard that also Gunna, who is not in this trial right now, but that the pushing P stands for pushing positivity. That was also discussed today. That's also new information, breaking news,
Breaking
pushing
news.
positivity. Well, all
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and I
So,
wanted to tell you too. I snapped a picture of Mariah the scientist, and I got whoo. They came in after me about that and told me not to ever do that again.
ooh, okay, they starting to come crack down. They started to crack down up in that court. So wait, who came at you? The Mariah's people or the court people?
No, the court people.
What?
The deputies.
Okay,
They say
so
they got a call from somebody. They said I don't know.
pretty much, when it's getting in there, people like, wait a minute, like, hold up. So that was when you were in the courtroom, or were you in the
Yeah, I know
hallway?
in the no in the courtroom because in the hallway I can't take pictures, but in the courtroom
Right.
I can. And so I to snap a picture like who look who they didn't have a problem with me snapping the attorney, ponytail, but when I snapped one with her, that's when it became a problem. So
Wow.
I told them I won't do it again. I said okay.
So what's that mean? Will you be able to take pictures at all? You saying you're not
Oh
going to take
no,
any pictures?
I could still take pictures of the. They said, well, one person told me, it's like I'm promoting myself. I said, yeah, I am promoting myself. I'm a business.
What do you think? You think I'm here for a hobby? You think I'm coming here every day for what? Just to entertain myself? What are we doing right now? Speaking of which,
So,
everybody get your cash apps ready and hit up infamous Sylvia on your cash apps. Make sure we get that going. That's right. Because this is, listen, we got 4 or 5 months. Sylvia has been here from the gate before this trial was even important to everybody else that's there now. She has been there, and we got to make sure that she continues to be able to be there and support the coverage. Now, we are not live on Infamous Sylvia. I don't know if can we do that, Steve? Can we add it on now? Or is it too late? Too late for the producer? He's going to check. So we're live on SOHH. We're live on SOHH.com as well as SOHH YouTube. And what'd you say? We cannot add it at this point? Okay. Okay. But we will make sure we put this up. We'll download it and then you can upload it. I know tonight's you're exhausted. You probably won't have time to talk to folks after this. So we're going to do our best to get everything in now.
I got an hour to drive. So.
Okay. Well, we can talk now. We can talk now and then we'll download it so that you can upload it to your folks over on your side. And we'll try to take questions, etc. If you want to, I don't know if there's a way to post to your folks and tell them if you want to submit questions, submit them as we're talking now. But anyway, so this morning, back to that. Mariah, how was she looking today? Was she looking cute again? She had on cute shoes like yesterday?
She's so cute. She had some silver shoes on today. She looked cute in a silver bag. I told her, I said, you look so cute. She says, oh, thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So she's in there.
And she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. You know, some people, they have celebrityism where they act stuck up. No, she's down to earth. She's a sweetie pie.
Okay, that's good to know. Again, she's helping with the image, right? Like this thug guy, you think he's a thug and he's a criminal. Look at this sweet girl that he's with. Look at this girl. She got on silver shoes. She smells good. And she sings nice songs. No, that's good. Us women, we gotta kind of help, round out the rough edges on the men sometime.
Yeah.
So that helps. Yeah. So anyway, so we were talking about
Little Rod. I heard you say Rodrell.
No, so let's talk about So we talked about how you had previously interviewed Rodelius Ryan's dad about his connection to Young Thug.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And he said what?
He basically said that he don't know why they added him in the Rico, and that his son did not know Young Thug like that. And then he also stated that they asked him about if he would testify against Young Thug, that everything would basically go away. So he's like, no, he's not gonna say stuff that's not true.
Right. So he's like, you got me rep. So what are they accusing Stillwell of I'm sorry, Rodelius. It's the petty theft. It's the theft and things like that. Right?
He only has the Rico. He has the Rico on his, but they trying to do something with his old charge, his old case that he was convicted of. But recently that case is being overturned because he has to go back to court, and they're going to revisit, because there was a testimony given by one of the witnesses saying that he was not any parts of it. So
wait, you talking about Shannon Stillwell? I'm talking about Rodelius right now.
That's what I'm talking about, Rodelius. That's what I'm
okay, Rodelius. Okay, so because isn't it just that he was like he was just doing like theft, right? It wasn't.
No, there was a death. There was a death.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He was doing things like crime, stealing cars and stuff like that. Yeah.
But his dad, you said that his dad actually said that he had been in and out of jail from when he was young, right?
From age 12. He's been out, like youth detention centers and stuff like that. But then this recent last case, he was put into, jail, a real jail now, not no underage detention center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's
And
at
so it
Rice
looks
Street.
so it looks like what they're trying to say, Steele is trying to say, that he doesn't know these folks, and in particular with your conversation with Ryan's dad, he he was already involved in criminal activity, and pretty much they called him out because you live in the community. You know we can get you to testify it and be to get lesser charges for your own stuff that you've already been doing,
Yeah, yeah,
and pretty much engage in that way. So because he refused to do that, now he's all wrapped up in the RICO with Thug and with the
yeah,
rest of the folks.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And that's the case with the other guy, Mender. But he was taken off the case because his attorney was pregnant. Mender
Mm-hmm.
Quadravius, Mender, I think that's his name. He's the
Mm-hmm.
same situation because when I talked to his girlfriend, she said that they don't know Thug at all.
Mm-hmm. So basically, this is what it looks like happened. They look through the list. Who around Cleveland Avenue that we already have in the system, that's got crimes that we can lean on them to see if they'll, exchange testimony about Thug and lie about him in exchange for lesser sentences on their own crimes. So these random people that Jeffrey does not know have been intertwined in this case with him.
Yeah, and the
Mhm.
stuff that Jeffrey has done in his life, basically, is like non what do you call it, federal crime, not federal, felonies. They were
Yeah.
like marijuana charges, drug possession, like not to distribute but to have it, for personal use. So, and then gun possession. So he actually had those type of criminal activity, but he's never been convicted of any of that stuff. So, because a couple of things was thrown out, after they did an investigation and stuff like that. But that's why everybody's the family members and the friends who I've talked to saying that they don't understand why they putting all these RICO stuff on him when his crimes are not that type of stuff. You know,
Yeah, so what you're saying is he didn't even have a history of any hard criminal behavior. Like if you're going to
no,
be the leader, if you're going to be the leader of a criminal enterprise, racketeering, you would think that there would be some historical, background of you being involved in real criminal behavior. It sounds like really, we're just guessing here that like they pretty much targeted him, and this is what Steele is saying. They targeted him, for reasons, trying to, first of
but
all, the
what
prosecutor
happened?
fan, uh-huh.
What I'm sorry, I wanted before I
Hmm.
forget. One of the things his father told me during our interview was um, him and Jeffrey went down to pay for the bail of people from the neighborhood who couldn't afford to bail themselves out. So once he did that, that is what caused the little trigger, and then that caused them to come like looking after him because he was paying for the bail for those individuals, and those who couldn't afford attorneys, he was getting them attorneys to fight their cases.
Okay, and this was way prior to all of this RICO stuff. This is just what
Yes,
he was doing in
yes,
the community.
yes. Community stuff.
So basically, he was thwarting their efforts to fight crime in that community by making sure that the people who were being accused of crimes had representation, and were able to post bail. And the idea here is that they engaged him in this whole thing to basically say, listen, we're going to just take everybody down, and we're going to say that you're the head of all this, this is a criminal enterprise and all of these people are part of your organization. It definitely sounds like something that they could have that could have been made up, especially since when I think about it, he just didn't have a criminal history. I mean, if a
Yeah,
person
and
is
then and one of the things that Brian still spoke about is an incident where Thug and his sister was in the car and they stopped his father, and the mistrust he had for police officers and just the criminals being able to people who lied just to be able to get out and stuff like that. That is the type of thing that he despise. So helping those who are innocent is what he strives for, because he has a mistrust for the police.
Right. I definitely can see that, where as a young man, seeing his father being pulled over and mistreated by police, seeing
And they
people in the community, and having the resources and the means to be able to help people in his community. I know that he also had things like community days. He would give out sneakers, he would give out food, he would give out turkeys, and things like that. So he definitely was still connected to his community.
But
And
remember what Lil Baby said? His testimony about how Thug told him to get out the game of selling drugs, because he asked him, how much do you make in a day, and he says, I'll pay you if you go into the studio. Instead of you out here doing this criminal stuff. Get out that game, and you could do more, make more money being a rapper. And look at where Lil Baby is now. He's really big.
that's right. So there's a whole nother narrative here that Steele, his attorney, has to reshape in the minds of the jury, of someone who grew up in this impoverished community, uh, raised himself up to become a successful rap artist, was giving back to his community, was involved in his community, was advocating for people by providing them with resources and money. Um, who people have spoken highly about. Again, during the hearings, there was a young man who I thought was really compelling. He talks about how Thug really was a role model for him and made it possible for him to speak around the world and around the country to encourage youth. Like you mentioned, the testimony of Little Baby about how Thug told him, "Listen, get out of this street stuff and let's get you into the booth." So there's a whole nother narrative about him that needs to be pushed forward. So that's what Brian Steele is going to be charged with doing this entire time.
Yeah, and then the other thing, Felicia, me interacting with the family, I see a very tight knit family, huge family, and very tight. They all love each other in the way they interact. Even the dad. I mean, to me, I don't see that. You know what I mean? Everybody has their issues in their family, but they're very close. They're very close.
Wasn't his sister one of his managers as well? I remember.
I don't know that part.
I remember seeing something with his sister, one of his sisters. He's got 6, right? But I think one of them at least was involved in his business, and maybe even the philanthropic aspects of his business, managing his business. I think I saw them maybe on a interview, a radio interview, and his sister was there. So, like you said, there's definitely, it was a family business. Him being in the music business was a family affair. His family was supporting him. And now you think about the impact of all of this on his family, and the impact of all of this on all of the young men who have been wrapped up and ensnared by this case, which may or may not have merit.
Yeah, and his sister, one of his sisters passed away back in June, and I was invited to the funeral, and I was invited, I spend time with the family and watching, the interaction and things like that. They have a very close knit family that cares about each other, and he's not from like a home that's broken. His father told me that he was around his son all the time, and he may not have been married to the mother, but he's very close to the family. He's takes every part of his son's business and stuff like that. He's involved.
Yeah, I definitely think his father being so vocal, speaking with you, and being present at the court today, and his mom being there, speaks a lot to who he has been. I think that this issue of rap lyrics on trial is a big problem because the fact of the matter is that we do have an authenticity piece that's a big part of what hip hop is. This is what we talk about. This is what we live. At the same time, there is a level where people are creating a persona. And I think that's what Brian Steele was talking about today about, did he talk about that piece? I don't know. That was after in the afternoon. I understand he said something about this was a persona that was created.
Yes. And also they use an individual who was a criminal who has been in trouble, the Copeland guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one that supposedly was the witness in bringing about the evidence and was interrogated, and so they have vendettas. A lot of it is a lot of those people that has been around him that was doing some of the crime. They were very jealous of him. You know, they expected him to take care of them and stuff like that. So you get upset if he doesn't give you money on something. You get upset with him, and then all of a sudden, uh, you're giving information to the police saying that he did this and he did that, and he's not the one doing it. You're doing it. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Especially if you're being pressed.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just go into like the context, right? So the greater context of this is that this particular area was crime ridden. It's one of the, high crime areas of Atlanta. And District Attorney Fannie Willis uh, has a point to prove. Her job is to clean up the streets. Her job was to, to do work like this, to prosecute. So
And you got to also too. There is a history between her and YSL people because she was representing one of the individuals.
what talk about that? What is that?
She she was the defense attorney for one of the guys. I can't remember his
Hmm.
name. Is I forgot his name. I think it was Rondo. He was the founder, one of the founders of YSL.
So what would
The
be her
music.
motivation to come and try to get them now?
I
What are you
don't
saying about that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm. So we're going to take some questions in a little bit. If they're coming in, I'll ask the producer to start pulling them in. But I think that the idea here is that, this this creation of the state prosecution is a function of the context of an environment where you have a district attorney who is motivated, highly motivated to prosecute crimes. These are the types of roles that are elected positions. Is a DA position elected in Atlanta? Usually it's an elected position. Um,
Yes, it is. It is.
Right. So you're trying to, you got to come out there and you got to, make some stuff happen. And to be able to say that you took down this major rapper and his enterprise, that you cleaned up an area of crime is a big deal. So Fannie Willis started this. She's no longer involved, but this is where the motivation for something like this can come from, where the state can actually concoct this scenario where a rapper is involved in this criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So after we heard from Brian Steele, what any other specifics of what he said? I mean, was it just really setting up the background and?
He did the background. He talks about each overt charges. He talked about the guy Copeland. He talked about the individuals who are part of the case who out of the 28, he only know a few of them. He didn't know all of them, but majority of them was raised in that neighborhood, and that's how these people know him. And he's like the neighborhood hero. He has gotten out of that impoverished area. He makes millions of dollars, and so these people can relate. And this is like their hero. So, and I mean, this whole, yes, when he was younger, there was mischievous things that was done, but he's trying to pull people out of that environment from them doing that, and he's showing them there's a better way, because he found a way through his music, and he learned, he emulated from different artists that was his favorite, like Tupac and Lil Wayne and things like that. So now he's trying to pull others up, but but here's the deal. He is not, he's still in the community, going back into the community, and
Right.
sometimes you might have to separate yourself. You can give from afar. This is
That's
my
right.
opinion. It's my opinion here. It's not.
No, and that's valid, because it's very, very common for those things to just we want to stay in the community, but the community can't deal with what that looks like. We've got folks who are jealous, like you said, folks who will kill you folks who will, so it's a very problematic thing to be able to help the community and live in the community at the same time. But he remained there, which is part of the issue of what we're talking about now. So after Steele spoke, he painted the picture of Thug. He said he
Yeah, but
didn't know him.
I also wanted to bring up the part where Lil Wayne had said a comment about him being gay, and that's supposed to be that's where the rivalry between Lil Wayne came from, and the car, his tour bus being shot up and all that kind of stuff. But he was saying basically, Steele was saying that was one of his like art, like his, what is that word that you use if you love a celebrity? That was a person.
That was his a role model. Like
role model, yeah. Role model.
So he didn't really have beef with him. It's just that, there were some comments made that people took, some kind of way. And that was really what it was, but it wasn't anything deeper than that. I wanted to, we got a comment from Don Marley who says they also trying to blame Thug for the beef with YFN Lucci, who was also locked up. So,
right. Speaking of YFN Lucci, he had a hearing this morning. I was up there. It was quite boring, but his trial starts January 6th.
Okay, so right now with YFN Lucci, they're doing preliminary motions and things.
Yeah, pre-trial motions and stuff like that.
And he is he's in there for murders as well.
That case has a lot of murders. And he had bail, but they revoked his bail or something like that. But Thug never got bail.
Yeah, Thug attempted at least 3 times.
Yeah, and he had no murder, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it definitely has been a really interesting way that they have been playing this situation. What do you think his mental state is? What is his dad saying his mental state is with all of this? I mean, he's not
good.
Yeah.
No, I was saying he's pretty good. He's very attentive. I keep my eyes on him. He's very attentive. It seems like, I guarantee you, somebody's going to be a lawyer out of those 6 guys.
Trial by fire.
Become a lawyer, because I was talking to Mariah. She even said that this kind of stuff makes you want to go to law school.
Yeah.
You want to understand, so you can fight a good fight.
That's right. Well, prayerfully, some lawyers will come out of here. Not so many criminals. People will see this and be inspired to get into the law, as opposed to participating in activities like this. Pretty Brown Eyes 81 says, "Wow." So you were mentioning YFN Lucci and what Don Marley said, but I wanted to just deal with what Brian Steele said about the not knowing people. Now Thug does know Shannon Stillwell.
Yes, he knows Shannon Stillwell. He know Kendrick, and he know little guy, the little Farley guy. He knows him. He knows. Let me see. Of course, he know Gunna. He knows a couple of course, his brother. He knows his brother, and a couple of more. But all the other people, he don't know. He don't know Minder. He doesn't know. What's his name? He knew Huey. Because they were in the same area. They grew up together. But a lot of them he don't know. The one with the have the criminal charges, like Eppinger, he don't know Eppinger. Eppinger, the one that shot up the police, was these
are people who are no longer in the case. But of the 6 people who are left in the case, the 5. He does not know. You're saying he does not know Rodalius Ryan. He does not know Mender. Well, Mender's no longer in the case.
No, Mender's no longer in the case.
Okay.
But he knows Kendrick. He knows Stillwell. He knows. The 6 that's really right now, majority of them he knows, with the exception of
Rodalius. Right. And Stillwell. So Stillwell was mentioned in a song. So that's that evidence that he knows them. So we know that he does know them.
He knows Stillwell. He knows Stillwell real well.
I wanted to shout out a few folks. Lady Coltrane. Hey, Lady Coltrane. Thank you for joining. There were some more folks. You can put them back up. We weren't able. Hey, Steph Lover 217. Thank you for being here. Keeping an eye on what's happening out here. This is a very consequential trial. Hey, Tressie Parker. Good evening. It's very consequential because, like, this is going to determine how lyrics, whether they be rap or otherwise, are seen and are used and are interpreted in court. So you could be rapping about stuff, and you hear all of these rappers, especially in the hip hop community, today, talking about, a lot of this stuff, which is cap. But there's not going to be a lot of capping after all of this. It's like, if you ain't live it, don't say it, because you might go to jail.
But you know what? I kind of like this because I think this is gonna be set the precedent. It's gonna be the driving force of what should be done in music now. You know what I mean? So people gonna be paying attention and making sure there's some sort of disclaimer put out there that, hey, this here that's being said is not real or whatever. They're gonna have put a warning label on this stuff.
I think that we could use that, because I think that a lot of people are not, they're not clear about whether or not these things are happening. I think it's influencing people who believe the hype, who believe that, these crimes are being committed, or these people have this much money, or people are engaging in certain activities. We need that. We need, we need more accountability and credibility in rap. It used to be back in the days, like, you rap and that's what you live. But these days it's become a thing where people just talking about stuff just to get, shock value, or just to get likes, or just to get credibility. There's a question here we want people to answer. And this is regarding Young Thug's name, the acronym. The Young Thug acronym, Thug now means, or it was supposed to mean, truly humbled under God. It's an acronym.
But like I was telling you, I love that part. I love it.
We love it, but the question is it a backronym, meaning it's he created it just, is it really something from before, or he created it now because of the situation? So is it a backronym? Is it a capronym? Meaning, is he capping?
But you know what? Because because I've met the family and I've interacted with them, they have a strong belief in God. And Doug, every time he eats, because I watch them when they eat, right? He's the only one in the courtroom that prays, and he sit there and do a long prayer. He don't just be like, Lord, thank you for the food type of prayer.
Right.
You could tell that he was raised in some sort of background of
faith,
some spiritual faith. Yes.
And you know what? It's unfortunate that he didn't talk about that in his lyrics, because it would seem to me that maybe that was his initial, the meaning of it, that we never got to know. We never got to hear that spiritual side of him, the side of him where he talks about having a relationship with God, where he talks about praying. And I think that that's what we need. We need more diversity in hip hop, where people can just be real and talk about what they really dealing with. Like, I got stuff going on, and I pray before I eat.
But do you think the music would sell if they say they pray? No.
Well, we're not telling them that they should be Christian rappers. You ain't got to turn all the way into a Christian. No, you ain't got to turn all the way into a Christian rapper to say, a couple things about God, like, I pray when I eat, blah 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 blah. I think, and this is funny because
still said that certain things sells. Being a thug sells.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. But there's also a side where you don't have to be so far left. You don't have to be. I'm not saying you got to be a Christian rapper. You ain't got to be far right. You also don't got to be far left. Like, at the end of the day, we all individuals. All of us have multiple sides of us. So on one hand, you may, have a faith, but you also like to listen to, drill music, or you also like to, hang out at the club or whatever. I just don't feel like, I feel like this false narrative that we're like, oh, you just got to be 100% this or 100% that. There's a lot of people who reference God in their lyrics, and who, especially when they get up there to win a Grammy, first person they're thanking is God. So I'm not saying that they need to become Christian rappers, but I do think that they should be able to talk about who they really are, instead of having to come up with this persona that will ultimately lead them into these type of situations where people are accusing them of crimes. Okay,
I agree. I agree.
So what else happened in the afternoon? And we're gonna.
Oh my God! After we got back, like late tonight while we here. Okay, Attorney D. Williams, her Well, I guarantee you, she didn't spend 10 minutes up there doing her opening argument.
Whose attorney is she?
She is Little Rod's attorney.
Oh
She did
no.
not spend no more time up there. She just gave a little history of how he was born. He was born late at night, in the bed. I mean, in the wasn't even in the bed or something. Was born in the bed or something like that. And hers was really short, quick, and done.
What do you take? What do you make it at?
Um, it was not much to me. It's not much to argue because he's not really part of this case. He don't know anything about these people. He has his own little thing that's going on, and he has his case that he's dealing with. And why are we here? Type of message I got.
Right, but if she doesn't defend him, he could still go to jail.
Yeah, but I mean, there is nothing because she said he's innocent. He's not. He hasn't done anything. He's not part of a gang. He's not part of this because one of his only charge is being a part of the gang.
So we need to. That's what I think. That's even more of a reason that she needs to be a lot more aggressive, because if this young man is really has nothing to do with this, if she's not aggressive about really establishing his situation, then he could wind up going to jail because she took it like, oh, he didn't do anything. Well, shoot, you got to make sure people understand that. You know, they try to put somebody in jail. Somebody.
But I think the opening argument was more of like, he's not part of this. He has a case. He's serving his time, and this here has nothing to do with what happened before.
Okay. So she's trying to separate him and say, listen, he got something else, other stuff going on. I don't know what y'all doing. He got other things that he's dealing with.
Yes.
Okay. Who else came up?
Then you had Mr. Bruce Harvey, who reserved his time to after the case, the state complete their case. So he's not going to do his opening argument until afterwards.
Whose attorney is he?
That is Mr. Nichols' attorney.
So he didn't give any opening statements?
No. He waived it to the end.
And what's that mean to the end? That means after everyone's given all their statements?
After the state presents their whole case, meaning if it lasts 6 months, 4 months, he's going to do his opening argument then.
Okay. All right. So then we have, so that's two. Let's see. So far we've got the yesterday.
You should have three because you should have four. You had Steele. You have Mr. The one that did yesterday.
Yeah. Still well.
Then you have
D. Williams.
D. Williams, right? And then you have Harvey, who waived his side. That was 4. And then you have number 5 was Mr. Matthew came up.
Okay. And he's whose attorney?
He is Mr. Huey's attorney.
Okay. All right. So what did he do?
Oh, I forgot. Mr. Kendrick was before him, before Mr. Matthew. Matthew was last. Kendrick's attorney came up. His name was Andis. I think his name is Andis. He's a bald head guy.
Okay.
And he argued for Kendrick. He gave saying that Kendrick is not guilty of any of those charges. He paid his due. His time in the crime that he committed before, but this case he is absolutely innocent, he said.
Okay, so Kendrick has had prior criminal history, but as it pertains to this crime, he has nothing to do with this.
Yes. What they're doing is using their history, their past, as part of this
right
RICO charge.
Right. They're basically saying who from Cleveland Avenue and the surrounding perimeter up to a certain amount of feet do we have in the system that we can get to, again, motivated by this desire for political gain, for political purposes, to show that you're out there fighting crime and that you to have a high profile rapper caught up in, when this happened, this was huge. Yeah. So there's a motivation to do something like this. And who do you find? Well, find the people who are already in the system doing stuff. And we're going to say they're all part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Kendrick's attorney, again, well, he's not guilty of any of the charges. He paid his, he's already done his crime. He's already paid for those things that he's done.
And he talks
Um,
about his stuff he's doing in community, the
mhm,
philanthropy work. Like he has some league, some athletic league that he's doing with the kids or something like that.
mhm. Is
He
he
talks about.
is he currently out or is he in jail right now?
He's in jail. He's in
Oh,
jail.
okay, but this athletic lead is something that goes on in his name.
Well, he was out before doing
When
it.
he was out, he knew he was doing
Yeah,
these
he was
things.
doing it. Yeah, yeah.
What's he in jail
Talks
for
about,
now?
huh?
What's he in jail for now?
He's in jail for, if I'm not mistaken, I think murder, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have to go back and look because
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
so many charges. I get it. We'll we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll straighten it out in the article that's going on sohh.com. So everybody, we're going to take everything from now, put it in the article, work it all out for you guys to understand as we go forward. Now, tell me, Mr. Matthew, Hewitt's attorney, what did he talk about?
He's Huey's attorney. He talked about Mr. Talked about Williams knowing him. They grew up and together. They know each other when they were children. They grew up. He talked about how Huey and his spouse or girlfriend, he has 2 kids, and how that they have had like domestic stuff going on, and talked about him having some past of him. I think he's the one with the robbery, the car, a lot of robbery situation with him. And then he explained to them about the armed robbery, saying that it doesn't necessarily mean that he had a gun shown just to hurt somebody. It might have been just a car. I mean, he explained a lot of different things and terminology, what the assault and stuff like that is all about.
So you said he grew up with Williams?
Yeah, he knows him. They knew each other in the neighborhood. They grew up around each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that he's is he currently in jail?
Yes, he's in jail. Yes.
Again, that narrative.
But he's never been never been convicted of anything. He's never had anything.
Yeah, so pretty much find people who are already in jail, what they've done, and say that they've done this other stuff too.
Yeah. Everything was like from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seemed like. Most of the cases of stuff from the past, and they
And,
added
and
it together, made a Rico.
So take the stuff from the past, lay on top of that some lyrics for current lyrics of stuff that they're talking about in lyrics, right? And then lay on top of that some witnesses. And I understand we got probably 200 to 400 witnesses who are going to be testifying in this trial. And now you got a case.
Yeah.
Wow. That's how you do it, people. That's the formula. That's how you bake a cake. Doesn't mean it's true. It just means how it's done. Any last things before we close up?
Well, I wanted to talk about tonight the argument that he had with the defense was putting a motion about something that the judge had already ruled on, and it seemed like the judge is pedaling back on what he ruled on, because the state still does not seem prepared. It's like they just throwing things in and seeing what will stick, and I think there's been a lot of help from the bench to try to get them up to par. And I keep saying these ladies were thrown into this position because all the other ones are gone, and now they're trying to catch up, and they still have not caught up.
You mean the ladies, meaning the new prosecutors, prosecuting attorneys from the state?
I'm talking about Miss Love and Miss Simone, Miss Hilton. They both seem like they're overloaded with work, right? And they're trying to get this, and I'm not, it's not that I'm taking sides for anybody. I'm just telling you guys what I see. Okay. And they have to fulfill this particular job, do this job, but you don't have all the equipment. So you just try to throw everything from somebody else's stuff.
Right. You're looking at people's notes from before. When did they get on this case?
They got on last year around November
of last year, and already at that point,
right after the two got left. Remember, there was 2. It was a white lady left, and then the white guy. But there was other people. The only person that's still on there is Mr. Smith. He's still on there from the original crew.
Right.
But
So they had, again, before they actually announced these RICO charges, they have been preparing for months because you don't announce no RICO unless you're really ready. So
well,
these young
they told them they were ready, but
But that's what I'm
those
saying.
people are gone. Those
That's
people are
what I'm
gone.
saying. That's what I'm saying. The point is that there have been months of history, discovery, research, and information that these women who are now working on the trial were not a part of.
Yeah.
So they're trying to look at other people's notes and understand how things are working together, and they keep messing it up. I heard that they asked for a mistrial today.
Yeah, what happened is Mr. Steele, when his opening argument, he made some statement, and they're basically saying if Mr. Steele is saying this, he has to prove it. If he has to prove it, they're gonna have to ask Mr. Williams to get on the stand, right? And if he doesn't get on the stand, they're gonna request a mistrial, and then that means that they can bring in the evidence that they have from before. It's a whole, it's a
So
whole
so
mess.
so basically, basically, this would open up a can of worms with information that they haven't already prepared.
Yeah, and then this
Having
will
him
then they'll be able to bring new evidence in.
right. So they want a mistrial so that they can re-up and get refreshed and get
Yes,
repackaged the whole thing.
yes, but that's only that comes on later on. So they just put, but the judge denied it. Judge denied it for Mr. Steele, and judge denied it for them as well.
Okay. Okay. Uh, wow. This sounds like a whole mess. It sounds like they're trying to do the most and do too much. And unfortunately, there's no continuity with the people who started this whole thing. So people are picking up the pieces. It's messy, and it bodes well for, I think, for YSL, for Young Thug and the rest, because it just they don't seem like they have all of their materials in order. So we will continue to see how this works out. What are we setting up with for tomorrow? How are we starting the day?
Tomorrow we still court's supposed to start at 10, but we're supposed to get there at 9:30. But that never happens because stuff happens. So hopefully we'll be on. Hold on a second. I'm getting ordering food. Hold on.
Uh, so while Cynthia is ordering food, we can take any questions. Well, I'm sorry, what you said, producer? Sylvia. Jesus, why do I'm like crazy? Y'all gotta forgive me. I do that all the time. While Sylvia is ordering food, any questions, producer? We can throw them up. But yeah, so tomorrow we're looking to have them start around 10 o'clock in the morning at the Fulton County Courthouse. Unfortunately, they probably won't start at 10, which means that our update probably won't come until maybe 1 or 2. Again, the most important thing for you all to do, is to sign up for notifications. Press that notification button so that you will know when we go live, because we don't know when we're going to go live. We're trying to kind of have a time frame, but it really depends on what's going on with the courtroom action. So our goal is twice a day, midday, evening, to be able to keep you abreast of everything that's going on. Support this channel. Support Sylvia, support SOHH. We are independent Black-owned media. I understand that there are other people in the courtroom. They don't matter because they're not from the culture.
Excuse me. Let me say something about this whole culture thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Mr. Williams trusts me and do exclusive with me is because I've been there, and I care about our people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about dollars for me, because I've been doing this for free, and you know that, Felicia. So
Mm-hmm.
I want truth told, and I want it being told by us, because it's not about the agenda of making money off of the backs of us. You
That's
get what I
right.
mean?
That's
And
right.
that's why I don't, I want folks to know, and it's not that I'm trying to be on one person's side. No, I need you guys to hear the whole truth. You
That's
guys
right.
know that these are human beings, these are families that hurts on both sides. I'm not just the defense. You got individuals who's been murdered and things like that. So, and a lot of these different bloggers and big time people, they don't care. They don't care about us.
That's right. And I want to get with that, I want to give a shout out to my nephew Don Marley in the building, and some other folks, Classy Coco. Hey, everybody. Hey. Who was that said hit the like button? Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up Steph Lover 217. Thank you for that. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's really important. Like where you get your information from matters. Where you get your information. I don't know if you guys remember a few months back, certain people tried to kill Jamie Foxx. You know, another white owned non-black entity. At the end of the day, for them it's just entertainment. For them it's just making money. For us it's impacting our community. For us it's impacting our culture. This is what we live. This is our lives. So you know, it's very important that you support the media that's supporting the community, that's going to give you an unbiased perspective, that's going to give you a holistic perspective of what's going on. And we're doing that. We've got that live stream coming very, very shortly from the courtroom, so you won't have to go to anybody else's live stream. By the end of the week, we'll have that set up. You got updates during the day on SOHH, as well as SOHH.com, as well as the YouTube for Infamous Sylvia and for SOHH. And we're looking to basically, you know, bring it to you guys the way that it should be brought. So please support, like, and sign up for notifications. All right, Sylvia, you got to get your butt in the house.
Look, I'm eating bad food, y'all. I'm eating terrible.
Terrible. What you got? What you got?
McDonald's McRib.
Girl.
I have not tasted that thing in God knows when, so I'm tasting it tonight.
That's the only thing that's open. McDonald's.
Yes. Everything else is closed.
Look at what she's doing. She putting a health in.
And I got a Sprite. I'm not supposed to be drinking soda.
See? She can't even get fresh food out here so late. We're gonna have to start sending you some food to the courthouse.
Tell me.
DoorDash.
You know, the thing is, I made my food last night and I forgot to bring it. So I didn't even eat all day today. I just realized I didn't eat.
Girl. Yeah, I realized that when you never came out for a lunch break. So I realized
I didn't eat. Oh my God. I didn't eat.
Listen, we got to slow down, take it easy. We got a long way to go. And I want to let you go on that note so you can get out of traffic, get in home, and get rested for tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. And we will see you. Pretty Brown Eyes, thank you for joining us. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Make sure you, Tressie, thank you for joining us. Yeah, McDonald's, yeah. And we will see you guys tomorrow, midday, notification sign up. All right. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Take care, my dear. Bye-bye.